across the water. Mist is rising on the mountainside. Leaves are blooming in the ash tree. Robin's looking for something sweet. Where I'm sitting beneath the eaves, not one drop will find me. A little seedling is breaking through, persistent as the thought of you. Looking out into a sea of green, thinking on the years and miles that lie between. It seems so long ago, but you're still on my mind, you know. I go walking through the trees, the water dances over stones. The April morning is clean and new, but a breeze has brought the thought of you. Looking out into a sea of green, thinking on the years and miles that lie between. It seems so long ago, but you're still on my mind, you know. I sat down by the riverside, fearing I could drink it dry and still not be satisfied, satisfied. The banks are full with all this rain, and if they'll overflow, I can't say. The crickets calling in the firelight, and a long and gentle sleep tonight. Looking out into a sea of green, thinking on the years and miles that lie between. It seems so long ago, but you're still on my mind. Yeah, you're still on my mind, you know. You know. Still on my mind, you know.
Let me tell you about my angel, the one you never see. my everyday companion, living deep inside of me. She guides me through the trenches, she gets me out of every mess. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. Well, she leads me on my journey, she leads me to the goal. She's always on the money, never leaves me in the cold. And every time I listen, I wind up being truly blessed. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. I'm at the fork in the road, I gotta make a choice. So much going on, I don't heed her voice, so I'll make a wrong turn. I'm feeling lost and afraid, and I hear my angel calling, recalculate. Well, I gotta pay attention, 'cause it's powerful stuff. I gotta turn it on, and I gotta turn it up. 'Cause every time I do it, you know I'm guaranteed success. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. Play it for me, folks. You bad boy. Lost and lonely, I'm drifting in the dark. Will I ever find a harbor? I don't see it on the chart. With some saying no, but someone else is whispering yes, yes, yes. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, crystal clear and never muddy. She's my Watson, she's my Tano, never tardy, always pronto. She's my Sherpa, she's my guide, never runs and never hides. Truly awesome, she's the best, she's my personal GPS. My personal GPS. She's my personal GPS. Yes, she is. She's my personal GPS. Yes, yes.
The night is louder than it's been before. I hear it knocking on my walls and door. Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Inside Live.
Welcome to another evening with a very special guest and me, Alice Howe, and...
My old buddy, I am Freebo.
Who are you?
I am Freebo. But our special guest is a longtime buddy of mine, wonderful guitarist, singer, songwriter, producer, STEVE Postel.
Yeah.
I think you really enjoy Steve. He's got a lot to talk about, and so do we.
We can't wait to interview him and share some tunes. And I just want to say, as usual, we are live on the radio. You are listening to WPVM LP in Asheville, North Carolina, 103.7 on the dial, and globally at WPVMFM.org. We are streaming visually as well as audio on Facebook and YouTube. You can find us at either Alice Howe Music, or you can look up Freebo's fan page on Facebook or Freebo Music on YouTube. And we are so happy to have you in the chat, so thanks for being with us.
Great to be here. And let's start off with a song. It's a beautiful day here in Los Angeles. And looks like the clouds are lifting all over the country in so many ways. I am fully vaccinated. You get your second one, what, tomorrow?
Yeah, day after tomorrow.
Day after tomorrow.
Yay.
Wow. Anyway, this song is called To the Light. I've heard it said the earth looks peaceful when it's seen from outer space. Such a pretty place for you and me. How do we hear the wisdom of the crickets in the night, singing out of sight from way down here, where there's only right or wrong? Why can't we just try to get along? I've heard it said there's 100 billion galaxies of light, lighting up the night for you and me. We could be just as peaceful as the earth from outer space, living in a place of harmony. Oh, such a lovely sound. Why do we put one another down? Just consider that there is no wrong or right, and consider that there is no black or white. There are always shades of gray to help us find our way to the light.
To the light.
To the light. I've heard it said every culture has a history in stone, dances of their own they like to do. Wouldn't you like to be accepted just the way you are? Is that really hard to see? Couldn't we find a way to understand and blow away that line in the sand? Just consider that there is no wrong or right, and consider that there is no black or white. There are always shades of gray to help us find our way to the light.
To the light.
To the light. Dee dee dee.
Dee dee dee.
Dee dee dee. There are always shades of gray to help us find our way to the light.
To the light.
To the light.
To the light.
To the light. I've heard it said the earth looks peaceful when it's seen from outer space. Such a pretty place for you and me. For you and me.
For you and me.
For you and me.
For you and me.
For you and me. For you and me.
It's been a while since we've done that one.
Yeah. Figured it just kind of felt that way,
Nice,
you know.
Freebo.
Things are lightening up.
That feels very appropriate.
Love is all around.
Well, I am so excited to welcome our guest tonight and another fellow Cordial Cables artist. We have
Indeed.
Steve to thank for hooking us up with Cordial.
do.
Want to say hi to Mike out there. I saw him in the chat already. So, Steve, would you come on and say hi to us?
I
Hello.
am saying hi to us.
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Welcome.
You are.
Welcome
playing
to our
along. Did you
virtual
hear-
party. I saw you playing along.
Yeah, I changed the key. You played it with me in A. I did it in
I could
G,
tell
but
that.
I figured
you
you
also-
could figure that out.
You also tune your guitar a whole step down.
I do.
I would venture a guess.
Yes, I
he's
do.
bringing it
I do.
down as far as it can go.
So you're also in L.A. You're a bit west of us. You're in Santa Monica, right?
Actually, Marina Del Rey.
Marina Del Rey.
Right.
Close enough. Close to the ocean.
Well, a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, man. For
Yeah.
those of you who are watching and listening, Steve and I go back, gosh, I know at least 20 years, and maybe even further. We have a lot of mutual friends, and I remember meeting you, or at least seeing you at one of Johnny Rosh's gigs in
Oh my
New
God.
York.
Wow.
And
right.
maybe I met you also through Jeff Pivar, but I just know you as a really just a wonderful guitar player and singer and songwriter and producer. And to me, you're just what I really respect about you. You and I are a little similar this way. We tend to get things together. We create happenings and bands and ensembles and so I've seen you in so many different configurations. And your new configuration now, you got together an incredible bunch of musicians. The immediate family. I mean, Leland Sklar, one of my favorite bass players. Russ Kunkel, drummer that played. So why don't you tell us a little about the immediate family?
Yeah.
Yeah, it came out of when I got out here 15 years ago or something like that. Now it's amazing.
Oh wow.
And
Was it from New
like you
York?
said, from New York, yeah.
Okay.
And you were in Colorado
I
for a
kinda-
while too, right?
Well, I had a 10-year. I kind of based out of Colorado for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
We were I had a band called Little Blue, and we also became John Oates' backup band. And he was living there, and he said, "You should really come out here." And it definitely beat the city for a while. When I
John
came
Oates
out here,
of Hall & Oates, of course.
yes, Hall & Oates. We did, yeah. So I wanted to, having had a band for 10 years, I got out here, and there were so many people I wanted to play with at the time, and I wanted sort of some freedom. So instead of picking 3 or 4 people, I decided to make a band that was really just me and a bunch of whoever I wanted. So I called it Night Train Music Club. And so the only person who actually had to show up was me.
That's
and
very
that was
similar
still-
to your setup with the Fabulous Friends. You guys have.
Yeah,
I see what you
exactly.
mean,
It's a very
Freebo.
similar idea.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
so we played with I mean, a lot of people played in that over the years. It was a lot of fun. And then Danny Korchmar moved out here, who was one of my really figureheads in terms of what you could do as a guitar player, and then as a writer, and then as a producer. And I'd met him, and we had a nice connection. So he started playing with that. And one thing led to another. We went to Japan for a gig that was supposed to be the Section gig, but the Section didn't do it. So instead, Danny and I put something together. And he got a record deal in Japan on a Japanese label. And of course, he called. We started doing pre-production. He called his best friends, which is Leland, Waddy Wachtel, and Russ Kunkel, and said, "Are you guys available?" And they were. So we made that record, and for me, that was literally those 4 guys were how I learned what you're supposed to do when you play to a song, and those were the 4 guys. So it was a pretty remarkable experience just being in the studio making that record. But halfway through that record, it was pretty clear that this was probably going to be a band. And soon, it was organic. And then we went back to Japan as the immediate family, instead of Danny Korchmar, and that was that. And we're busy. We're doing
Rest
whatever.
is history.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so many things have happened. I mean, they're doing a documentary. Denny Tedesco, who made Tommy Tedesco's son, who did the Wrecking Crew film, directed
Right.
that wonderful film.
Yep.
He's
Yeah.
directing one called The Immediate Family.
Wow. That is so
And,
cool, Steve. Where did the name come from? How'd you guys come up with that?
Danny just looked around and said, "This is my immediate family."
Yeah.
It was- everything
It's-
about it has been very organic. Yeah.
Uh-huh. That sounds just perfect for everybody involved. It's
And
really, really
you
great.
are, I kind of think of you as the main singer in the band. I mean, I know everybody sings, and Waddy sings some stuff, and so does
It's pretty
so
much
does Cooch.
yeah. When we do a show, it's we split it up. We go,
Yeah.
you know, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and
Uh-huh.
everybody's got a different style. Waddy has a real rock and roll sort of Keith Richards meets Warren Zevon sound, and Danny's kind of blues, this blues thing,
Mm-hmm.
and then I sing anything that's too high for those guys.
Right, right.
You feel like singing something for us now?
Yes,
Sure.
please.
I'll sing a song from like a lot of us. I made a record, and it got done about 15 months ago. It got released in Japan. We were just about to release it here, and guess what happened?
COVID.
No, what happened?
Something happened. So,
But you don't know
We're
what
just-
it is.
right. We're just starting to talk about getting it out now that maybe the world's
Cool.
opening up.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This is the title song from that. Yet to be released. You can spend $35 and get it from Japan if you want. But
Plus shipping.
I'm looking at the sky, feeling kinda small. I'm looking at my life, make some sense of it all. Got my hands full of dirt, got my feet in a hole. Got my tools from the shed, and I'm digging out my soul. When there's nothing more to gain, nothing more to lose, trying to stay out of the rain, trying to keep up with the news. I'm looking for the truth, and I'm walking through these blues. I got some brand new shoes for walking through these blues. Let's find some higher ground to watch the waters arise. Let's listen for the sound, hear the wind as she cries. When there's nothing more to gain, nothing more to lose, trying to stay out of the rain, trying to keep up with the news. I'm looking for the truth, and I'm walking through these blues. I got some brand new shoes for walking through these blues. I can see you in the shadows, but nothing looks the same if I don't find my way home. I'm the only one to blame. true love. She was knocking at my door. Her picture in a frame. I don't have that anymore. When there's nothing more to gain, nothing more to lose, trying to stay out of rain, try to keep up with the bad news. I'm looking for the truth, and I'm walking through these blues. Said I'm looking for the truth, and I'm walking through these blues. I got some brand new shoes for walking through these blues. I'm just walking through these blues in my brand new shoes. Just walking through it.
Beautiful, Steve.
Nice, Steve. Lovely.
I was just thinking, when I first met you, I think at Folk Alliance, Steve, everyone said, you know, he's a guitarist, but I've just come to appreciate your singing so much. I'm wondering if you could talk about your journey as a singer, just kind of, do you feel like you've gone through different evolutions in terms of your voice and kind of becoming the singer that you are now? Because I just remember hearing you do a Joni Mitchell tune for free during one of the late nights at Cantina Navarro with Dan Navarro and all the crew at Folk Alliance, and I was just blown away. That was the first time I was like, wait, why doesn't anybody talk about his voice? So I'd love to hear about that. Yeah.
It's interesting, by the way, that this is not a brag, it's just a highlight in life. I actually got to sing that about 3 years ago for Joni in her wedding.
Wow.
Oh my God, that was a brag.
Were you nervous?
No, it's so good.
Oh yeah, well I didn't. She said, sing a song, and I said, well, is it okay if I sing a song that you wrote?
Oh my gosh, I love it.
It was pretty amazing.
Wow, that is like a highlight of life.
He's a true hero of mine. Well, the interesting thing is, when I was very fortunate. I started very young, and I started when I was 8. And the teacher my parents got, which is always, our teachers are so valuable. Mm-hmm. He was a guy who played the guitar, classical, flamenco, folk, rock, sang in a Broadway show, played the flute, danced. So he came in, and from the first day, I was playing, learning to read, singing. All of it was always one thing to me.
Yeah.
And so I had in New York, I did a lot of different things. I had bands. I got signed early, made records. I played Broadway shows. Sometimes I was all kinds of things, as I still have. Sometimes I was a guitar player, but I always had a band or a record or a solo career, something like that. When the band Little Blue, which was on the road, we played about 230 gigs a year for 10 years. And when I came out here, I'm not sure exactly why, I just sort of came in and put that aside for a second in terms of so people started to know me as a guitar player. It wasn't that I didn't do the other thing, and the other thing's actually been really the dominant thing in my life. But I was kind of happy to finally, I wasn't leading a band. I didn't have to, I was like, I'll just be a guitar player for a while and write songs and make another record. I got a record deal that Freebo worked on with me. So I figured it's going to take me about 2 years to do this record. Everyone else will just think I'm a guitar player in LA, and that's fine. So while I was being the guitar player on sessions and stuff, and for other people, I was making a solo record. So it's so I've always sung from the first day I picked up a guitar.
Interesting.
Yeah, you do. You have a beautiful voice, and one of the things that I most respect about musicians and artists of any kind is to watch them grow over the years, get better and better. And like James Taylor, who was always great, now he's really great, and Bonnie. And yourself, I've watched you grow over the years and turn into just a really excellent guitar player, an excellent singer, and I think it's so cool that all this experience you've done, including playing in pit bands, musicals, we've all done. I like to say I played it, at every from the Hollywood Bowl to Carnegie Hall and every dive in between.
Right.
And it's all part of what gives you soul, and it's so nice to see you at this point in your life to where you're just singing your butt off and playing your butt off, and here you are immersed and surrounded by some of the best musicians in the world. So I'm really happy for you, Steve.
Oh, thanks. It's a culmination. If you keep doing it and you keep wanting to get better, you will get better, and it stays urgent.
Yeah.
If it gets blasé, and it does for some people, I get that. It just never has for me. I had a little bit of a Facebook. I'm sure you know about Facebook fights.
Go on.
Unfortunately, yes.
Usually they're about politics, but I had one that didn't mean to be a fight, but where someone was saying that he knew so many musicians who, since they had no gigs during COVID, they hadn't picked up their instrument in 6 months. And I just said, that's really odd, because for me it meant I had more time to play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I certainly don't need a gig to justify playing and writing. But so they didn't like that. They thought I was being mean.
Interesting. For me, I agree with you. It's actually been an opportunity to not have the pressure of like the same set, every night on the road. Instead, I feel free to write stuff, some good, some bad, and figure out what I want to do next. I totally agree.
Alice, you don't have any bad stuff. Sorry.
Well, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
tweak it until nobody knows how bad it was when it started.
That's what the process is about, right? Yeah.
And I've been taking guitar lessons for the first time in years. It's been an opportunity to have the time for me.
And you just had a vocal lesson today.
And I've been taking vocal lessons. Yeah, it's been really fun.
Yeah, when I got in this band, and they said, by the way, you're going to be singing all the Henley stuff and all the. So basically, you're going to be singing from F sharp to B flat every night. And I went, better go back, take some voice lessons, get that back together.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's
so
great.
I did that the first time in 20 years I'd actually taken lessons.
Yeah. It's nice to kind of work it out. I've been loving that. Spent an hour with my teacher this afternoon, and I guess I'm really warmed up.
Well, let's hear.
See
let's see how warmed up you are.
All right.
Absolutely. On your nice new guitar, too.
On my that's right, my new Ernie Ball Music Man Valentine guitar, the green one. Yes, I am loving this. Well, this is a song that I wrote for my last record that Freebo and I worked on together, that Freebo produced. It's called Visions, and the song is What We Got Is Gold. And there's a music video for this tune. If you guys haven't seen it, go to my YouTube channel and look up What We Got Is Gold. I'd love for you to see the video for this song.
It's really nice.
The night is louder than it's been before. I hear it knocking on my walls and doors, saying soon enough it's time to go. But these precious hours, I keep you close. Of all the nights in recent memory, yours was there to echo mine. If the papers would all print old news, they'd say I'm still in love with you. Let the years go by, it remains the same. What we've got is gold, and what it's worth won't change. Well, I fear I turned you upside down when I tore you from your hometown just to make you wait at home for me and keep this fire alive tirelessly. But if your patience ever reached an end, tell me, baby, what would I do then? Say that it's alright to ease my mind, though you told me so 1,000 times. If the papers would all print old news, they'd say I'm still in love with you. Let the years go by, it remains the same. What we've got is gold, and what it's worth won't change. All along the road, these faces seem to come and go, but yours, my love, will never fade. If the papers would all print old news, they'd say I'm still in love with you. Let the years go by, it remains the same. What we've got is gold, and what it's worth won't change. Won't change.
Beautiful.
Thanks, Steve.
Yeah.
Oh man, thank you. I love the sustain on an electric is just so new to me. The fact that it just keeps going is like, oh my god. Next I
Wait,
got to get a
wait.
looper.
And then wait till you get a distortion pedal, then it's all over.
Oh man, I really would like to get a very cool tremolo. That would be my first
Yeah,
first purchase, I think. Maybe you have a recommendation.
I do.
Okay, I'll ask you. Actually,
Later.
what is it? Folks might want to know.
Well, there's a few that are really nice. I don't want to.
Okay.
I'll give it away later.
Okay. We'll save it for the after party.
All right. Hey, Steve, why don't you do another song? Well, we got you.
Well, you got me.
We got you.
And before you do, I just want to mention again, we are live on WPVM FM.
We are. Asheville, North
103.7,
Carolina.
Asheville, North Carolina, the voice of Asheville on the dial and globally at WPVMFM.org.
very cool. It's different, Usually we're just on these days on the interwebs.
I know.
You have to be. I'm glad you reminded me not to swear.
Hey, Steve.
Yes.
Got to clean it up, man.
They pull it right from the YouTube stream. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. That's great. Well, so as I mentioned early, soon after I got to LA, I did get this record deal with a label called Emergent Records, and they wanted to. The idea was because I had this career of playing with so many different people, that it'd be a record full of guests, and it was amazing. So I had Alphonso Johnson and Leland and Waddy played on it, and so many different people played on it. Paul Barrere, we did a song together. Robin Ford, Eric Johnson. So I called my friend Freebo. I said, hey, buddy, I want you on this record, but as long as you're going to be on this record, why don't we write something? And we did. And
you going to play it?
I'm going to play it.
Oh,
all
great.
right.
Excellent.
Or try to play it.
I will play along. Nobody will hear me, but I will play along.
When I wake up every morning, sun shining in my bed, there's a crack in the ceiling, wheels spinning in my head. Put some sugar in my coffee, turn on the radio. All this talk, all this chatter, I hear it everywhere I go. I could live for tomorrow or get stuck in yesterday. Too many stories in my way, lost in my history, but I find my way home somehow. Everything I'll ever need is here and now. I'm living in the history, and I'm living in the mystery. I was walking in a daydream, must have been something she said. Her reflection in a window, street light flashing red. I could live for tomorrow or get stuck in yesterday. Too many stories in my way, lost in my history, but I find my way home somehow. Everything I'll ever need is here and now. Just living in the mystery. I see a sign on the highway over and over again. 1,000 miles, 1,000 memories, just to get to the place I'm in. Just to get to the place I'm in. Oh, and I'm lost in my history, but I find my way home somehow. Everything I'll ever need is here and now. living in the mystery. Living in the mystery.
Love that.
Yeah, man. Living in the mystery.
It's a great song. I think I heard an early version of that you played me once when you were saying that you guys wrote that song together.
Yeah, yeah.
Or was that?
Well, we played Steve's version from his record
Okay,
too.
I couldn't remember whose
And,
it was. It's great.
I've been starting to
song.
record that, Steve. I'm still trying
That's what I was-
trying to figure out exactly how to do it.
I was confused because I thought you also did it.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to do it. I have not been successful yet.
Why not?
Well, just
It's a
different
great song.
permutations to find the right key, everything like that. I don't have the voice that Steve has.
Take it down.
I have a different kind of voice. No, that's great. Good to hear that again, man.
It's a good
I
song.
forgot it. It's great lyrics.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's a good song.
It holds up. All right, you want me to play some bass?
You want to play some bass?
Yeah.
All right. Well, let me see if I can.
And I know, folks. There's sometimes we have the sound isn't always perfect on these shows, but we appreciate your bearing with us. And I just have to say, I cannot wait to not be streaming all of my live music over the internet and to be singing for you guys in person someday soon. I'm sure you feel the same way, Steve. It's like we do the best we can here, but it's like no comparison to the real thing. Can't wait.
Speaking of which, we are going to be going out, right, Alice?
Yeah.
Where's some of
Yeah.
the place we're going to play while I tune this up?
We are. So, Steve, I'm going to be recording my next record at Fame Studios in Muscle Shoals in July.
Oh, fantastic.
I think Freebo told you about that maybe, but I'm really excited to go back. And we're going to be doing some shows actually on the way there. We're going to be going to Muscle Shoals by way of Chicago because
Good
that
rally.
makes sense to do Rich Warren's WFMT folk stage and hopefully
Nice.
go to Nashville and DC and make our way up to Baltimore, right? And up to
Philly, Washington,
we're going to do a big
and
road
up,
trip.
up into New England.
But I'm just so excited to get back in the studio with the band.
Oh, it's gonna
Can't
be
wait.
cool.
The suspense is killing me. I waited an extra year and a half. What do you got? What are you going to do?
Well, we take these headphones off. And
Is it time for...
no, this is a tune I wrote with a good friend of mine and my favorite co-writer, apart from Steve, of course, but we only did one tune. Her name is Karen Taylor Good, and she's wonderful. In fact, she and her partner Stowe Daly were on the
Yes,
show
they
about
were
a month
amazing.
or so ago. They're really wonderful. But Karen and I have written quite a few tunes, but I love this one. And it kind of started where she said, I want to write a song that has recalculate in it. I said, why? I said, I just kind of like it, the whole thing where you say recalculate. So we came up with this whole idea, and we came up with this song called Personal GPS. Check it out. You ready, Alice?
I am ready.
Let me tell you about my angel, the one you never see, my everyday companion, living deep inside of me. She guides me through the trenches, she gets me out of every mess. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. Well, she leads me on the journey, she leads me to the goal. She's always on the money, never leaves me in the cold. And every time I listen, I wind up being truly blessed. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. I'm at the fork in the road, I gotta make a choice. So much going on, I don't heed her voice.
So I make a wrong turn, feeling lost and afraid that I might hear my angel calling, recalculate. Well, I gotta pay attention. It's powerful stuff. I gotta turn it on and I gotta turn it up. 'Cause every time I do it, you know I'm guaranteed success. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS. Take it, Freebo. I'd have you do it, Steve, but I can't hear you. I'm sure you're doing it on your own. Well, I'm floating lost and lonely. What am I doing? I'm floating lost and lonely?
You're drifting in the
Oh,
dark.
yeah, I am. I sure am, aren't I? Well.
Wait, can I do that pickup again? I messed
Wanna
it up.
pick up?
Wait.
1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Well, I'm floating lost and lonely. I'm drifting in the dark.
Will I ever find a harbor? I don't see it on the charts. Well, some say no, someone else is whispering yes, yes, yes. She's my Bible, she's my buddy, she's my personal GPS.
Tag. She's my
Bible, she's my buddy, crystal clear and never muddy. She's my Watson, she's my Tonto, never tardy, always pronto. She's my Sherpa, she's my guide, never runs and never hides.
Truly awesome. She's the best. She's my personal GPS. My personal GPS. Get back on. My personal GPS. Yeah. Oh, yeah. My personal GPS. I say she's my personal GPS. Yes, yes. Ready? Nice to have a partner.
Made it through, Freebo.
We did. All right, let me put this thing down.
I'll play that song.
Steve here.
You have, I'm sure. He said he's played that song, Freebo.
You have.
Yes,
You've played all these songs, Steve.
I'm sure he has.
We've done
So far.
many permutations together.
Yeah.
I have a question for Steve. I was just thinking, I know you've produced a lot of records for yourself and also for other artists, including Dan Navarro, our friend Dan. And I'm just curious if you could talk about your vision as a producer, your role, what you believe your role is as a producer, and just what that process is like for you.
Well, there's a few. Having had both, I've been on both sides of that desk,
Yeah.
and I've got an opportunity to watch some really amazing people. Over the years, I watched Shirley Akis do some things, and Bob Clearmountain, and so on. I think when I do it, the primary thing is if the person has a vision of what they would like, how can I help that vision? And then what could I add to it that they might not be thinking about? So we're trying to find what's the best version of you. I produced a record last year, a woman named Jody Siegel, a fantastic singer, writer. And I
Love
just
Jody.
felt that all of her other recordings did not show, there's nothing wrong with them. They did not show how good she was. And I said, I wasn't trying to get the gig. I said, that's what I told her. I said, you're much better than these recordings. And she said, well, what would you do? So that was an example where my goal was I want people to hear how good you are.
Yeah.
And to make it your thing. So that's one thing, is what is the vision for that person, either that they have or that I have for them, or both of us, but they have to be on board. And then the next thing is, because, and Freebo knows this because we both have done this for so long, there's we know the best musicians in the world, and we work with them, and they're a phone call away. So it's not just calling anybody, it's who should play this music. Which guys would be the guys to play this music? So part of it is knowing who those guys are and being able to figure out, I know the best 5 bass players, I think, in the world, which one would be good on this record and why. And then another thing which is really important is when I get them in here, don't tell them what to do. Don't say a thing, because that's why they're great. And it's a mistake that some producers make. They immediately start giving direction. So I never do that unless they ask me. My idea is, what do you hear? You've played on 1,000 or 2,000 records. Now, after that, after it's gone down, I can say, let's try, and then I can add in. So those are sort of some of the keys, is let the collaborators bring what they have to the table. Let the artists feel comfortable and supported, and make them sound as good or better as if you sat in a room with them, which is where people sound the best, and so many records don't sound as good, and the great records do. That's the difference. There's the art of making it come out of a speaker and still have energy and life.
Exactly.
Well said.
Steve, I would just amend that slightly. I'm pretty much in the same ballpark as you. I like to say that my job as a producer, especially with somebody like Alice, is to frame the vocal, because it's all about the vocal, which of course it's the song. The record's all about the song, and the deliverer of the song is the singer. So my job is to frame the vocal and shape the music, which is exactly what you're talking about. Get the best musician. The only difference in what I do from you is sometimes I'll do exactly what you do, just let musicians come in. But sometimes what I'll do is say, okay, give an outline. Here's the kind of feel I'm looking for, say like a funk feel or whatever, depending on what it is. And of course, you do the same thing. And then I absolutely agree, having been on both sides of the glass as we have, it really helps to know what it feels like out there when you receive direction. I mean, there's such a thing as receiving a little direction so you can use your creativity. There's such a thing as receiving too much direction where all of a sudden your hands get tied. So it's really nice to take that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I've done it. That's how I learned. I went, whoop, not going to do that again. And it's happened to me as well. So
I seem to remember.
I agree with you.
No, I'm just teasing you. But there was a moment in recording my first record where we were working on the song Too Long at the Fair, which for me was like, I had chosen these covers that I wanted to do, and this particular one, Bonnie Raitt recorded, so I felt this enormous pressure to do it differently, and it was actually turned out to be one of my favorite tracks on the record, but it was very stressful to do it initially. And I just remember Freebo coming out of the gate like with all these suggestions right away, and I just like turned into a complete puddle.
I learned a lot.
And then I had to come back, and I did, and we figured it out. It was like very important producer-artist learning moment.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand.
It's like, leave me alone for a few minutes in here. Let me screw it up a little bit, and then let me know what you think.
Yeah, well, and I think when I came in was when it felt to me like you were kind of going down the wrong path, and which was really hard to say because I recorded that song with Bonnie, and so how do you? I mean, it's a particularly sensitive situation. How do you say, do it more like this? And anyway, we worked it out, and it was quite a challenge.
We're caretaker. If you're producing a record, you're the caretaker of the artist and the music.
Right.
And having had my creativity squashed by someone on the other side of the glass, back in the day, being in a session, and by the time they finish, they're telling you what to do every note and not digging it. You have no free. You become. Your hands get tied.
Exactly.
So I think that being. I know I want to be supportive. I don't want someone I'm working with to think I'm doing a crappy job.
Right.
It's interesting. We did a photo shoot with a couple great photographers the other day, and I noticed that they were very, and maybe they did think this, or maybe they didn't matter. They're like, oh man, that looks fantastic. Oh, you look fantastic. I love, there was so much. So you're like, oh, I look good,
Yeah,
And,
it helps.
But I know that even though I knew that that's just what they do, it still made me more comfortable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. It's so true. I've had that same experience. You need to be made comfortable, whatever. Yeah, especially in photography. That's very vulnerable, especially I think for us, we're used to being in motion on stage, and it's like there's a video capturing the event, but a photo is like, oh my God, it's you have to get the look and that energy that you want in it and what part of yourself you want to show, and that's
Exactly.
that's hard to do.
Well, Alice and Steve, we've got about 5 minutes left on the live part going out to the radio, but then as most of our viewers know, we will continue this on Facebook and on YouTube, and we'll actually be going into the room, what I call the room where we can see each other, and we'll be playing some more music, and we'll be doing a nice little giveaway, Cordial Cable giveaway, and this place where you guys can come in and ask some questions.
Yeah.
So I would suggest, Steve, since you've done 2 tunes and I've done 2 and Alice has done 1, that Alice does one more song.
Okay.
And
I
then,
would suggest the same thing.
Oh, good. And then we'll, as producers,
Do you
we
guys
are,
have
yes.
any suggestions for what I should play?
Play the good one.
Okay.
Play that one that's really good.
Do
Okay. I'll try. I'll do my
Steve
best.
Freebo's a good producer. He knows which song you should play. The good one.
So, folks, so stay tuned, please.
Yes.
And those of you who are on Radio Asheville, you can come.
can jump over
what's
to
what's the
Zoom.
easiest way to do it?
Yeah, if you're listening on the radio and you would like to join us, just why don't you go to youtube.com/Alice Howe Music. That's Alice like in Wonderland and Howe with an E, then the word music. And join us on there. That'd be great to have you.
And the rest of you watching, do they have the? Is there a some place that they can go on this next segment, Alice?
What are you asking me?
Well, the after party.
Brandon always puts
I
it in the
see.
chat.
There it is in the chat. I see it now. I didn't see it before. I see it now.
You gotta trust Brandon.
Yeah, I trust him. I don't trust myself.
That's why we have a sound man.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Well, now I think I should do Too Long at the Fair,
Oh my gosh! Wow.
which I hope I remember after all that. No pressure, Really set myself up. Hopefully we can get in before we fade out here. Hope that's loud enough. Jesus cried, wept and died. I guess he went up to heaven. I've been downtown such a long, long time. I'll never make it home by 7. Won't you come and take me home? I've been too long at the fair, and Lord, I just can't stand it anymore. Well, I went down to Jason, walked till my feet were sore, but I never knew what laughing was till you walked out the door. Won't you come and take me home? I've been too long at the fair, and Lord, I just can't stand it anymore. Won't you give my soul to Abraham, and give my soul the song, and give my bones to Canada, my teeth they don't hurt at all. I don't know, may the highway, I guess that's just my pride, but I have heard the Prince of Darkness
on his charger ride. The silver blade is gleaming, the scales are in his hand. I swear the night is falling, don't you lose another man. Won't you come and take me home? I've been too long at the fair, and Lord, I just can't stand it anymore. Lord, I just can't stand it anymore. You know I've been too long at the fair. I just can't stand it anymore. Won't you come and take me home? You know I've been too long at the
Yeah.
Thanks. All right. Well, I think we just faded out perfectly in time.
right
It was
in
right
time.
at the top of the hour. So, welcome to the after party, everybody. Welcome, Steve. We're now in after
Great to
party
be.
mode.
I haven't been at a party in 14 months. It's great.
I know. Isn't it nice, to finally be at a party again?
But you are fully vaccinated. Do you feel any safer with that, Steve?
Oh, I do. I really do.
Yeah, it is a shift. I feel like you just I feel more comfortable. I've only had one and I'm on my way.
Yeah,
But
we
hey-
got together and rehearsed for a week with same room. Five
Oh,
of us.
nice.
It was such a nice feeling. Yeah.
Oh, I bet, especially just to have that ensemble.
Yeah.
Thrill.
That's great.
Right.
Hey, I just want to mention now that we are off the air that many of you have already sent in donations for tonight's show, but we so appreciate it. We've got PayPal, Venmo, etc., all of the above. It's all in the chat if you want to send us something. If you're able to do that, we really appreciate it. We're going to split it between all three artists, and we do that every week because, believe it or not, this is what we do for a living. So
It is.
we appreciate you guys, and thanks for tuning in. Many of you have watched every week since the beginning last September. This is the 33rd week, and we're going to be going through the middle of June, looks like. So
We've got a couple more really good guests coming up. Booked Tom Prasada Rao for the week after next. A wonderful singer, songwriter, guitar player, producer.
One of the best.
One of the best,
Yeah.
brilliant guy. And Wendy Waldman, who's
Yes.
also a brilliant singer, songwriter, producer.
oh, wait.
She's just committed for the first week in June.
And I'm going to be back east in Boston
That's
for a
right.
couple weeks visiting my family, and I'm going to go over to Antje Duvakat's house, and we're going to do our set together from her place and have Freebo be all by himself.
I'll be
over
all
here.
by myself. All
So
by
that'll be fun.
myself.
Yeah, so why don't we let everybody into the Zoom room, Brandon?
All right, the floodgates are opening.
Floodgates are opening. Here they come.
Oh my gosh. I love
Floodgates
it.
are opening slowly.
Welcome, y'all. Hey, Mike Smith.
Oh, James.
And we will be doing our
Hello.
Cordial cable
certainly
giveaway now that we are.
Hey, Mike.
David, Thomas, Mike, you going to join? There you are.
Hey,
Mike. In a minute, we'll
See,
talk
Mike,
about
I'm not kidding around. See that?
Nice. I know, Mike, I hear that Steve's got one with a kill switch on it. I'm jealous now.
Yeah, what's with that? You didn't sell it.
We didn't hear
anything
about
that.
It's the
I'll get you.
Steve.
I get you hooked up.
We don't doubt that.
He's got one with a
We don't
kill
doubt
switch.
that.
Jealous.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming to the after party, you guys. And maybe we should do the giveaway right now, just while we're talking about Cordial.
Yeah, let's throw that out there because we like to be able to give you something, and thanks to our friends at Cordial Cable, we're able to each week.
So these are
those of you who've been here know that your question of choosing a number between 1 and 100, and the person gets closest gets a cable of their choice and a T-shirt. And Steve and I were talking about that. These are not just, you're playing old run-of-the-mill T-shirts, right, Steve? These things, they look great and they fit great and they feel great, right?
Yeah, matter of fact, I need another one, Mike. I love that. If you're still making them as good as the original ones, I want another one.
And I think Freebo was the only one who got one here, so maybe you could send me one too. I don't have one yet.
We'll talk about that.
We're really just racking it up here with Mike. He's taking notes. So yeah, folks, put your guess for number 1 through 100 in the chat, and we will pick somebody before the end of the show. And Steve, would you just do us a favor and say why these cables are so great, if you don't mind?
I don't mind, because one of my and I think over the years, if you get old enough and you do this long enough, you do have people offer to give you things over the time. Mm-hmm. And my policy is, if I'm not going to use it, I don't take it. I know a lot of people take whatever. And I had a cable I was using, and it's a good one. It's an expensive one, but they were breaking periodically. And I mean, in the middle of a show. And there's nothing worse than that to me. And actually, not only breaking, but on acoustic guitar, I was getting some interference. So I was kind of frustrated right when Mike said, "Hey, I got this new company, and so do I know technically that they wind it with lizard skin, and I don't know what they do, but I do know that I've stepped on them, I've driven over them in my car, and have yet to have anything happen. So they sound good. That interference on acoustic, sometimes that FM radio starts coming through. Mm-hmm. None of that. And I just want my equipment to work all the time, and to be solid. And these cables have been. I don't take anything else out on the road anymore.
Yeah,
awesome.
It's true. No, they sound good. They feel great. They look great. All of our cables we're using are those. I'll tell you what I like most, Alice, about this whole giveaway thing is in the chat. All of a sudden, these people who are just lurking in the shadows and not participating, all of a sudden they all come out with these numbers. I mean, there's my friend John Callahan and Don Clune.
We just reeled them right in.
The people I just,
Don was saying something. I see them. They're
just
hello.
coming out like crazy. Okay, well, we want something free.
Them.
We're going to show up. So, hey, it's great to see y'all. We appreciate it.
Yeah. So. What should we do now? Should we have Steve sing another song?
I think we should have Steve do another song is what we should do. Yeah,
before we open
definitely.
it up to questions? Cool. Steve,
right.
What do you got?
What do I got? I'm going to do...
How about some Joni?
That was a one-time thing, man.
Really? Oh.
No, I sing that song. That's a beautiful song. The version that I sing, which I'm for free, which I'm not going to do right now, but it's a version I think that the Byrds did, and Crosby taught it to me. So it's slightly sort of his take on it. If you don't know that song, one of the greatest songs ever written by Joni Mitchell. But here's a song that I wrote that is also on that record that was going to come out right when COVID came out. And this is a song about little things we tell ourselves that we're going to do that may not always quite be true. Well, I'm not gonna drink too much cherry wine and feel like shit the whole next day. I won't buy that sharp new suit just to kiss all my money away. I'm not gonna watch the cable news just to hear the lies they tell. And I'm never gonna fall for another gypsy woman so she can put me under a spell. And I'm not gonna write another song about you. Until I do. Until I do. I won't complain about the cards that were dealt. It was just a little sleight of hand. I went looking for the jack of hearts and a better place to stand. No more little white pills to ease my troubled mind and take away the pain. No more dusting off my boots just to stand out in the rain. And I'm not gonna write another song about you. About you. Until I do. Until I do. It's a revolution. All my resolutions, the ones I can keep, the ones I dream of in my sleep, the ones I know I'll never do, the ones that concern me and you. It's really all the same. There are no rules in this game. Write another letter to the editor that no one will ever read. I won't take pleasure from another new treasure that I don't really need. I won't waste my time in the checkout line just to get the deal of the day. And I won't back down from the players and naysayers who try to get in my way. And I'm not gonna write another song about you. No, I'm not gonna write another song about you. About you. Until I do. Until I do. Well, I'm not gonna write another song about you. I'm not even gonna think about you until I do. Until I do. Until I do.
Yeah.
Yay!
Oh man. So good. So good.
Nice to hear the applause, huh, Steve?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the
Yeah.
sound of one hand clapping. That's what we've heard for the last 14.
Yeah, that's right.
So
right.
true. It's
Hey,
great.
I want to, Alan, I just want to thank you, by the way, for turning us on to your friend in Chicago who might want to do a house concert. And we'll follow through in that.
Steve, I love how you use the looper. It's really
Yeah,
really
all
cool.
of that, just for that one harmony. Like, man.
It's so great. It's such especially for, you're by yourself for all these live streaming shows. It's like the perfect tool to have.
Well, some
It's
people
great.
like to play with themselves and some people don't.
Yep.
I did a weekly, when I first got to LA, there was a little place called the Sunset in Malibu, and I played every Wednesday. And I got really too into the whole looper thing. Like I was using it for,
Right.
like I had an octaver and I played the bass line, I played this, played that. So, which is all cool. I just, I use it sparingly, I think, now.
Well,
Yes,
it's
you do.
easy to get caught up in technology and forget about, again, like we thought, what's the essence of the song? The singer, and the background, wonderful, all well and good, but, it's all about concentrating on the vocal. I love the way you just use it there. You just in that one line, the harmony, put it in. That's great.
Yeah, it's great. Well, somebody had asked, actually a couple people asked, Steve, a question for you in the chat about your time with the Pure Prairie League, or whether you had a connection with them, and I'm wondering if you could speak to that.
I did have
People
a
wanna
connection
know.
with them. Yeah, and I'm, because of YouTube, I'm back in touch with Craig Fuller,
Mm-hmm.
Mike Riley, who were in the band back then. This was way back when, I'd say early 80s, and so people, if you don't know the band Pure Prayer League, they were, aside from
Very
being
talented.
great, they really came along, and could have been, they were like in the Eagles thing. It was the Eagles and Pure Prairie League and Little Feat, and their original lead guitar player singer was some young fella named Vince Gill,
Mm-hmm.
and then Vince got his own deal and left, and then they got Craig Fuller, who went on to be in Little Feat, fantastic. So Vince did the song "Let Me Love You Tonight," and then Craig wrote "Amy," which was their biggest hit probably, or maybe one of those two.
Mm-hmm. Beautiful song.
And then Craig went on to do his own thing, and eventually back with Little Feat he joined. But when he left, they were looking for a guy to fill that Vince Gill, Craig Fuller slot, lead singer, guitar player. And but they had lost their deal. It was disco. It was just a rough time. The sound of the music was all very synth oriented, and they didn't have a deal. And I went down, and it was an amazing experience. I got a record deal while I was down there with them, so it didn't last long. I went back up to New York to make a record, and since they didn't have a deal, it seemed like the right thing to do. But I learned, even in the short time that I played with those guys, I just learned so much about being in a band and writing and collaborating, and stayed in touch over the years. Just talked to Craig. Craig and I were on some Zoom thing together recently, and so that was my Pure Prairie League connection.
Hey, there's some tough shoes to fill somewhere between Vince Gill and Craig Fuller. I mean,
Unfortunately, I was so young, I didn't know.
That's great.
Yeah, they were a great band. I did a gig with Bonnie I think it was the second time we went to Hawaii, and the bill was Willie Nelson was at the top of the bill, and Charlie Daniels, and us, and Pure Prairie League. And so we got to hang out quite a bit. And I always thought the guy in Pure Prairie League. Well, Vince was part of the band, but so it was
great.
Vince, and this was probably 74, 75, maybe 76. And so not only I thought they were a great band, but some of the nicest guys in the world.
Yeah, they were
Just
great.
really,
They were
really
just great.
sweet people.
Yeah. They told me that they were auditioning and auditioning, and they had 2 days of auditions, and nobody was right. And Vince was like 18 or 19, kind of chubby, came in, and they were like, "Oh God, he was like the last guy." And he's like, "This kid, he looks like a little boy, you know." And they told me he was as good that day as he used to. Like he just was right out of the box. Everything played, sang like that.
He's amazing. He plays his ass off. I mean, he's a killer guitar player. A lot of people don't
So
know
good.
what a great guitar player he is. Killer
So
singer,
good.
obviously songwriter. He's a triple threat for sure.
Cool.
Well, Alice, you want to see? Maybe you get they say a mulligan. And call in
Oh
golf
my
a
gosh,
mulligan
Freebo.
for.
Don't out me like that.
Well,
I
no,
totally
I mean,
forgot how to
I'm-
play the bridge on that last song.
Yeah, I mean, I forgot. I couldn't think of the lyrics of one of my songs
We're
either.
we're
It
glad
happens,
you're here,
you know?
Steve. We're obviously having a interesting evening.
We told you we fly by the seat of our pants. You know?
Maybe a little too much sometimes with these shows. We don't
I
exactly
see.
prepare a set.
No.
That's why I have an iPad. It's
Oh
not-
my goodness.
I do not have the brain power anymore with all the songs that I know without
Mhm.
my little
Yeah.
trusty iPad.
Well, and it's great because I've been writing all these new ones, but then those are the ones in my head, and then I think, oh yeah, that one that was on my last record, no problem. But if you don't actually play your own songs, as it turns out, you can't just play the new ones and think the old ones are going to stick around in there as fresh and sharp as you would like.
Yeah, you know there was
Let me, I'm just going to tell you something,
ahead, Steve.
Alice. In a few
Yeah.
years, it ain't just songs that are not going to be in your
Oh no. It's like I've always had a great memory for words, and I don't even really think about it, and honestly maybe it's a good thing because it means I have more songs now. My repertoire didn't used to be as big, so I guess I'm just in for it now. I better start writing things down and carrying my iPad around with me. I better get an iPad.
Well, I would say don't, because once you do, you're screwed. Like if I don't have it there, I don't even look at it half the time. But if it's not there,
You panic.
I'd rather be naked than not even naked.
Hey, it's like walking out of the house without your cell phone. All of a sudden, you go, "Oh my God, what am I gonna do?"
Oh my God. I have to say I have lived in LA for almost 2 years. Well, much of that time has been during COVID, and I've been on the road, so I guess I cut myself a little slack, but I am so dependent on my GPS here. I mean, it's just pathetic. It is really, like, I don't have a clear picture of the city in my mind, north, south, east, west. I'm ashamed to say I'm dependent on my phone.
Takes a while, yeah.
I know.
I was going to say about remembering songs that Danny O'Keefe, a great songwriter and singer and performer, was awarded the Performer of the Year, the special award at one of the Folk Alliances, the Far West Folk Alliance, which is the West Coast branch of Folk Alliance. And I went to one of his workshops, and I love what he said. He said, every day I practice, and what I do is I play at least several of my songs, because if I don't do them, I'm going to forget them. He said, I just keep them fresh. It's not even a question of renewing them by doing different things, just a question of connecting the memory synapses. And I thought that was really,
So
really
true.
important. It's so nice to hear that. I mean, unfortunately, I haven't followed that advice, but one more thing in the bucket list, like, oh yeah, that's right. One more thing I have to do every day.
All right, well, I'm pretty sure I got this one down.
By the way, I'm curious if people, and Steve, you might be able to tell, what's the balance like? Have you got a good balance between the guitar and the bass and the vocal from us?
Yeah, I mean, on a little speaker, it sounds good. But,
Good.
I've only got the computer speaker. It sounds good.
Cool.
Cool. I'm getting some thumbs up from our Zoom crew also. Let's do You Just
can-
Never Know.
Oh, okay.
Count it off.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 2.
I'm westward bound on the turnpike, and the just as fast as those turns would allow. Am I covering the ground or just spinning my wheels? Have I got farther to go? Right around the next bend it may all be revealed, but the truth is you just never know. Oh, you just never know. Well, I look to this road for my freedom, and I drove it from end to end, and it dumped me into the ocean, then it sent me right back again. Am I covering ground or just spinning my wheels? Have I got farther to go? Right around the next bend it may all be revealed, but the truth is you just never know. Oh, you just never know. I take it 1 mile at a time as I get up to speed along these white lines. I'm alone in the gathering night, adrift on a sea of little red lights. I've left in a hurry and I've taken my time, driven blinded by love and by the tears in my eyes, broken down on the shoulder, no place to go. And I breeze through the night as I made my way home. Am I covering ground or just spinning my wheels? Have I got farther to go? Right around the next bend it may all be revealed, but the truth is you just never know. Oh, you just never know. Ooh, you just never know. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah. That's good. It was important to get those headphones on
Thank
just
you.
in time.
I saw Mike playing along. I saw Steve playing along. That was nice. Wish I could hear it.
In the key of B flat. Or was it A flat? B flat?
I love B flat. I gotta
Flat.
tell you,
B flat.
it's my
yeah.
favorite key. I don't know why.
I heard a
So-
funny story that
What's that?
Jimmy Page was going to sit in with Blood Sweat with Beach Boys, and so they went to do a run through of some of the songs. And of course, it's Beach Boys. It's all Brian Wilson piano stuff. He was like, "I can't solo in those keys." It was all flat keys.
I know. Honestly, when we discuss production for the record that we will be recording, we've been playing around with keys as we do before we record, make sure it's right, and making demos and stuff. And I keep ending up in these wacky places, and Freebo's like, no. This is not, Mark is not going to be okay with that. The horns are not, that's, you gotta.
B is not a great key for horns.
No.
See, I don't know these things off the top of my head.
But
That's-
hey, you got to go with
that's
the
what
vocal,
you guys are
right?
for. Right.
So, Mike Smith, I'd like to bring you in for a second, and before we tell you who won the cable, could you talk a little bit about the new project that Steve and I and so many other people involved with your brand new magazine, and let these people know what's going on with that?
I will. Great show tonight, y'all. Great songs.
Thank you.
Pathways Magazine is our new venture. We just launched it a couple days ago. It is an e-magazine with all kinds of great articles and lessons and features and videos. Songwriting article from Freebo this time. Steve Postel and the immediate family are on the cover, and have a nice feature article with a video of Steve and Waddy talking about the studio process. It's on a nice new platform that nobody's ever used before. So when you read the magazine, you can flip through the pages, and all the links are all there. So it's kind of got a website experience look to it, but you can flip through the pages. So it's really, really cool. So go check it out. I put the link in the chat, but you can find it if you type in Pathways Mag anywhere, Cordial Cables USA. Free subscription. We're going to do it every other month, and it's going to get better and better all the time. So we really appreciate the contribution from Freebo and everybody else, and these shows every week. We love them, man. This is why we're here. So that magazine features all of y'all.
Well, that's great. And
Cool.
Steve and Mike, I went to your article and I read the whole thing. It's interesting the way all you guys responded to the questions. It's really cool. Then I went and I watched a video with you and Waddy. You know, it was interesting just in terms of the way you guys, put it all together. And it was interesting that you said Waddy has better time than Russ Kunkel. I thought it was kind of interesting.
That's great.
We do have we have a full video with the whole band, an interview with the whole band that we're going to release as a feature here pretty soon too. So that'll be kind of an added bonus that I got to sit in the middle of a Zoom room with Russ Kunkel, Leland Sklar, and Danny Korchmar, and Waddy Wachtel, and Steve. And I'm like, what am I doing here? What am I doing in the middle of this group of guys? But they're also gracious, and they play so well together all the time. It was really, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, it's. I mean, for me, I'm just really honored to be part of that. And
Mike, I'd love to write something for you sometime. I love to write.
She's a great writer.
You're on my list.
All right. Let me know. I'll write some flowery, I don't know, whatever you want.
You guys could do it. You guys could do a little something together too. You guys could do a co-writing thing, kind of how you work together too, which might be kind of cool.
Yeah.
But we'll have our people call your
Sure.
people.
Okay, sounds good. You know where to find
Good
me.
idea.
Well, let's see.
Do we have a winner?
Yeah, we sure do. Brandon put it in the chat for me a little while ago. Let me just find it. Hold on.
Of course, we don't want people to leave because they have more music for you.
Brandon, will you copy it again? Oh, here it is. I got it. Okay. This is somebody who has watched us many times, and I'm happy that he won. He is watching on my YouTube channel, I believe, and his YouTube handle, I don't know your full name, but I'm guessing it's Todd. His name is Mega Todd 707. So Mega Todd, you are the winner. So please comment and say hi so we know you're there. Congratulations.
So either he flies a lot or he's in the 707 area code, which is Pennsylvania.
Oh.
My old
Or he
neck of the
just
woods, I
likes
think.
that number. Close to 007. So Todd, please comment in the chat and just say hi. And you can also go to my website is alicehowe.com/contact and just send me a note, and we will be sure to get you hooked up. Just make sure to contact me so I have your info.
Congratulations,
And congratulations. He guessed one away from the number. The number was,
What was the number?
91, and he guessed
Whoa.
90. So there you go. Excellent.
Cool.
Oh, yay. He saw it. Okay, good. Gave us the heart emojis. That means you got the message.
That's great. A heart emoji.
Does anybody want to come in and ask a question of Steve or me or Freebo? Anything at all? I know some of you have put questions in the chat, but maybe if you want to just unmute and say hello, we'd be happy to do that too. I'm looking
Raise your
to
hand.
see
Don't be shy.
Toby. Hi, Toby.
Toby does. Hi, Toby.
Toby always
How's it
wants to
going?
say hi. Steve, love your work. Love your work. Congratulations on Can't Stop Progress. Alice Freebo. Mwah. Just love you guys.
Thank you.
Love you too.
Yeah. Happy to be here.
Thanks for coming
Happy
in.
to have you every week. You've been a wonderful
Okay,
supporter.
you're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks for helping share the show, make sure people hear about it. We really
My
appreciate
pleasure. Thanks.
that. Yeah, of course.
Anne?
Anne?
Hi.
Hi.
I've been trying to sign up on Patreon and it keeps on taking me to another account I have with Patreon. Are there any secrets?
Maybe we can walk you through it. Will you write me an email? We've got a couple Patreon questions. Steve, do you have a Patreon page?
I do not.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm very bad at asking for money.
Oh, right. We
I'm
went
bad
over
at
that.
it too, but I just finally joined. Alice has had one for a while, and I'm happy to have one. And I've got a couple patrons. It's really nice.
And
Patreon
why
just
don't...
got valued at $1.2 billion.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's not surprising. I feel like every single artist I know has signed up for it in the past year. Probably everyone that, every independent artist. So Anne,
What's your email?
Yeah, it's Alice at alicehowe.com. Why don't you send me an email with your phone number and I will call you and we will walk through it.
All right.
Which is a great time for me to also mention that there's 2 more days left. I'm doing something kind of fun with my Patreon just until the end of this week. I'm offering for anyone who signs up at $7 a month or more, I will send you a mix CD. I bought a CD burner and have a stack of blank CDs, and I decided to put together just like kind of an exclusive little selection of recordings of mine. Freebo's heard the playlist. It's
really nice.
There's some
old
live recordings, some really old stuff, some brand new stuff that no one's heard. So this is the only place I'm offering it. I'll mail it to you, old school style. So you can sign up. It's just patreon.com/AliceHowe.
Yeah, and I'm about to do a very similar kind of a thing. Some of the older recordings that I've made. In fact, I was going to take something, Alan from Edison Electric. I noticed that you listened to the whole record. Bless you, Dr. Woodward. I there it is. I love it. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
Where did you get that?
Where on earth?
We made that in, I think, 1969. Where did you find that?
I got it on eBay.
Oh my God.
Well,
how much did it cost?
Was it really cheap or really expensive?
See here. It was $14.49 with shipping.
Well, that's fair enough. I
Perfectly
mean, gosh.
reasonable. I'll never forget once at my school at Smith, I had given my my very first like debut demo CD to the radio station at Smith, and then like when I graduated, I just noticed they were having like a garage sale, and my CD was in the free pile.
Oh, that's always embarrassing.
That was rough. It's okay. I'm over it. We have someone raising their hand, and I feel like I know you. Is it Rick? Your name is not showing. Hi, Rick. Welcome.
How you doing, Rick?
Your name is showing as Galaxy Tab. I don't think that's your name.
Oh, that's my thing, I guess. I don't know how to. This is my first time interacting on Zoom besides some guitar lessons. So,
you're doing a great job.
Thank
you.
Nice to see you.
I was going to ask Steve if he could do "Is This It" that I saw him do with Ian Matthews at the Coffee Gallery. That was a wonderful song. And what's the song that you wrote, Freebo, with Severn Brown? It's been said.
To the light. We did.
I love that song.
Thank you. We actually did that. It was the very first song of the evening.
I was working. I got in late, so
I'm
I'll
sorry.
play it back.
Yeah,
I'll watch
please
this
do.
later. But
Yes.
I'd love to see you guys live again at some point. So
Yeah.
Are you on
He's in
any of our email lists, Rick?
I hope so. I think I'm on both.
I think
good.
you are.
Well, if you get our emails, then you are. If you don't, then you're not.
I wonder, because I saw you had asked that, Rick, about just LA venues and bogeys. I'm curious, Steve, do you know anything about certain venues around town that are like looking like good spots to have?
Everybody's talking about it. I just spoke to the people at Bogies, and they've been doing a live stream.
Yeah,
but it's happening. I mean, we've got
Yeah.
a tour booked in end of October already, but over the summer, I think
Coach House has some shows coming up.
Oh, cool. Yeah. Well, that'll be really exciting. Finally, it's been nice to put together some stuff. I'm going to be going back east and just doing a live stream from Club Passim, which is the first time I'll be at a venue in over a year, so that'll be cool. It's
And the
starting to
write-off for you.
happen. Yeah.
Passim has had some great streams. I've been watching as often as I can. They've had some great shows.
They do a great job. They really they got on it right away. And I was actually talking with them right at the beginning. It's funny to think back at just all the stress of learning how to use all this equipment at the beginning. And I was talking with the folks at Passim. We were trying to teach each other stuff at the beginning, and all figured it out.
Yeah. So Steve, can you do that song that Rick
Yeah.
suggested?
Yeah, sure. Let's see.
Get out that iPad now.
Yeah, let's see. This is a song that I wrote for a friend of of mine named Stephen Bruton.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Passed away. But since
Sadly.
everyone on this, I'm assuming that everyone here likes music, or they wouldn't be listening. If Stephen Bruton was an absolutely incredible guitar player, songwriter. He played with Bonnie Raitt and Chris Christopherson, and sadly left us too soon. But check him out. I highly recommend it. I knew he was ill for a while, and I was on tour with Jennifer Warnes actually, and I believe we were up in Canada when we found out that he passed, and so this song came to me pretty quickly, and it's basically a conversation that I was having with him in wherever he was. Are you a spirit in the sky, or just some dust on a shelf? Can you hear me talking, or am I talking to myself? When I see you in my dreams, are you really in the room? Or is it just me trying to tell you that you left this world too soon? Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? The ships were coming into harbor when we first heard the news. Sometimes you're sailing with your destiny, sometimes you don't get to choose. Down at Cerritos Bar and Grill, someone is singing your song. It's just a kid with a guitar. Maybe you're not really gone. Is this it? Is this it? Is this it? billion years. Tomorrow's coming in a day. It's not as bright without you here. But I think I heard you say, this is it. This is it. This is it. This is it. This is all we get. You better get right with it. No second chances. This is it. This is it. This is all we get. You better get right with it. This is it.
Beautiful, Steve.
Thanks for asking, Rick. Appreciate that.
Wow.
So good.
Killer song.
It really is. Yeah, I thought you're gonna play a song that Stephen wrote, but you wrote that, right?
I did write that. Yeah.
You write that by yourself?
I did.
Great.
Excellent. Beautiful song, man.
Yeah, I love that. Just the questioning. Songs are a good place to try to ask those questions.
Yeah.
He after he passed, a video surfaced that he made before.
Oh,
He was
really?
walking his dogs, and he had his cap on because he lost his hair, and he said, "Hey, you never know how much time you have. This is it. You better get right with it." And that was all I needed.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. Well, I'd like to play a song of Stephen's that actually I'm recording for my next record, and it's one of the songs I'm gonna put on my Patreon page way before I release it, and I love this song.
The recording is so nice.
Yeah, it is. It is nice, and we actually added a couple pieces that I haven't explored, but Alice sings beautiful harmony on it. But this record, or this song rather, kind of explores some of that same stuff. It's a little bit sooner in the life cycle, but I'd like to think it's toward the end, and for us older folks, it becomes more and more apropos. Because, what is your life? Alice and I talk about this all the time. Row, row, row your boat. Life is but a dream, and
So deep.
and it is deep because life, it is a dream. It's all in your head, and you can't touch it. It's about the people you've touched, and in our case, we're really fortunate that we get to create something that touches people. But you still can't touch it. You can't touch the music. It's all very ethereal.
Ephemeral.
Ethereal,
Both.
yeah. Intangible. And his song is a beautiful song called Too Many Memories. When it comes down to it, that's pretty much what it's about. Let me do it again. I remember this town. Let me take his headphones out.
I was
Sorry
gonna
about that.
suggest that.
Yeah. A little easier to hear without them. All right. I remember this town and a girl by my side, and a love seldom found in this day and time, and it gets melancholy every now and again when you let your mind go and it drifts way back when life plays its tricks, some cruel but fair, and even a fool can't pretend that he don't care. When there's too many memories for one heart to hold, and the future once bright now seems so distant and cold, and the shadows grow long and your eyes look so old, when there's too many memories for one heart to hold. There are those moments, and they just never fade, like the look in her eyes and the way the light played. God moved in that moment, and the angels all cried, and they gave you a memory that you'll have till you die. Now the lesson you learn, and you don't dare forget, what makes you grow old is replacing hope with regret. When there's too many memories for one heart to hold, and the future once bright now seems so distant and cold, and the shadows grow long and your eyes look so old, when there's too many memories for one heart to hold. Too many memories.
That's a Bruton song?
Yeah. Yeah, I forget what album it's on. It's just really gorgeous. Just his guitar is very sparse, and Bonnie sings harmony on it. Similar kind of thing, but just I mean, so apropos. And
yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, I hate to be the bearer of bad news.
Are you
but
the bearer of bad? Oh my goodness gracious!
It's getting to be that time. So, does anybody have any final words? Any last speak now or forever hold your peace?
Yes. Is that Wendy down there?
Wendy, yes.
Hi.
Hi, Freebo.
Thank
Alice, Steve, you guys
Hi.
are amazing all the way around.
Thank you.
I love
Thanks
it.
for coming.
And I wanted to just mention to Alice, I don't know if you ever watch Antiques Roadshow, but someday your tape may end up on there.
Oh my
It'll
goodness.
be like priceless, right?
That would be amazing.
Exactly.
Thank you. I'll look forward to that. I would love that. That's true. I guess things that we would not consider antique will one day be just
valuable.
Hey.
Anyway,
Like
great.
me and,
Here's
me
hoping.
and Freebo.
I know you guys will be auctioned off. That's going to be
We're
a high
already
price point.
antiques.
No, we're keeping you around still.
Alice Storm, I just want to say hello.
Hi.
And
Thanks for coming.
I want to say thank you for being on YouTube so that I had a night tonight where I just constantly was having interruptions, but I'm not totally disappointed because I know I can watch it all on YouTube afterwards.
That's right. Great. It's all saved. You guys can go back and watch any of the shows in their varying degrees of professional sound.
Mm-hmm. Alice, Steve, where are they on YouTube? I'm sorry, Freebo.
No, go ahead.
If you just go to YouTube.com, all of them are on my channel. So most of them are on Freebo's, many of them are on Norm's, but all of them are on mine. So if you go to youtube.com/Alice Howe Music, and I believe you can just select live only, and that will show you every single episode. If you just filter it by only live videos. Yeah.
Yeah, and for those of you who've just joined recently, made some wonderful ones. Chris Smither was a great one. Tom Paxton.
Holly Near.
Rory Block.
Had some great episodes. Go back and check them out.
Who do we have? Albert
Jimmy
Lee.
Jimmy Vivino. Had Michael Lemo at the shop. We've had
a whole bunch of folks.
Yeah.
I would like to thank you for turning me on to Chris Smithers. He's one of my favorites now.
Isn't he great?
I know, me too.
Oh my God.
Me too.
What a treasure. And I I stumbled on John Prine 2 or 3 years ago, and in the last 8 months now, or 6 months with Chris Smithers, I mean, I'm blessed to, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. And Steve, would you mind sharing, do you have a great memory of one or two or some performance you were at somewhere in your career that was really special, or a venue, anything you care to share that we might find interesting?
Well, there's been a lot, but let's see. I think one of the a highlight for me was there's a beautiful festival in Canada called the Vancouver Island Music Fest, and I went up there with David Crosby and an amazing band. It was Leland Sklar was on it, and drummer from Wings, Steve Holley, and Albert Lee, and Vonda Shepard was singing, playing keyboards, and James Raymond. Anyway, so it was an amazing night, beautiful venue, but there was at one point, I mentioned they were going to do a covers album, Crosby, Stills and Nash, and it didn't happen. And we were just talking backstage about what songs were going to be on it, and Crosby mentioned the song "You Can Close Your Eyes" by James Taylor, and I said, I do that. So we worked it up backstage with Leland playing the part. He actually played on the record, and we went out and did it as just the two of us and Leland behind us. That was a highlight of my career, I would say.
Thank you. You don't happen to know Ron DeJesus, do you?
Sounds like a Facebook friend, but then again, everyone sounds like a Facebook friend.
Yeah,
that's quite the name.
He's a player, and I think he's like a guitar guy like you guys, but but I think he played with Albert Lee for many years or toured with him. He grew up near, we're from Long Island, and I think Joe Bonamosa is from. Yeah, so Ron DeJesus grew up on Long Island, and Bonamassa grew up in the next town, I think. Steve, are you from the area, from New York?
I'm from, grew up in Manhattan.
Cool.
New York. Born in New York Hospital.
Oh, cool.
Cool. Well, thanks, Thomas. It's nice to see you.
Thank
for
you,
coming.
guys.
Oh. Do you, Steve? I was going to say there's vintage and then there's antique. I think with cars, vintage is something like 30 years, and antique is probably 50, I suppose. I guess that makes us antique. It depends on where you start counting.
Maybe you could start getting those special license plates that show
God.
Antique. Classic. Classic.
Yeah,
it's classic.
That's what we are. Class. There you go. It's hard to believe, like the '57 Chevy, and I remember when it came out, all those '57 cars with the big fins. I mean, that's more than 50 years ago. I mean, it's 60 years ago. Man.
Well, the weird thing is that all the cars that we wouldn't have been caught dead in when they were new are now these, fabulous antiques.
Lots of chrome. You ever look under the hood of one of those things? It's this big hood, and there's almost nothing in it except for like a block, either a 6 or an 8 cylinder,
I
and a
know some
carburetor,
people like
and
that.
couple wires. That's about it.
Just kidding. Never mind.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Steve, thank you so much for being on
Hey,
Inside Live.
Thank you,
both
Steve.
for asking me.
Thanks for stepping in. It's great to have spent this time with you and hear your playing, and just loved the looping, and so great to hear more of your songs.
Absolutely.
One-on-one. Thank you.
Any last words of wisdom, Steve? Or last
The only
words?
thing I can say is that what we talked about before we got on the air is that this is something that we all love to do, and we love that people still want to listen to music, and we'll do it. We just lost one of the greatest producer engineers who ever lived.
Al
He
Schmidt.
was 91, Al Schmidt,
Yep.
and he was in the studio 2 weeks ago. And that's what we want to do. We appreciate, if you're listening to this, that means that you like music and appreciate it, and that makes it really worthwhile. And I'm always still, as we said before, I'm always learning, practicing, figuring it out, hearing more and loving it more and more, and that's what it's all about.
Always learning. They say life is about lessons, and the older I get, the more I realize that. And God's cruel sense of humor, his cruel joke is that when you finally come close to getting it, you die. So I don't know what it means, but it's worth it. That.
I think you get it in different ways at different times.
You sure do. Well, we'll be here next week, same time, same station, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern, and we'll have a wonderful guest, and we love it. You guys come back week after week, and
Thanks for being
we hope
here.
to see you next week. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Steve Postel. Bye,
Thank you,
guys.
Steve.
Thanks,
Thank you
Freebo.
again,
Thanks,
Mike,
Alice.
for
You're welcome.
thanks for
Thanks,
sponsoring
Mike.
this, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you, Mike. Bye, everybody. See you
Bye.
next week.